everybody. Welcome to the show, Tucker Wooding.
Good to be here.
Good to be here, and thanks for the surfboards in the background. That's really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Is that one over your left shoulder? Is that broken?
Yeah, so that's a broken surfboard.
No. Please tell me it was bitten by a shark. That's a much better story.
It was bitten by the reef at Pipeline.
Were you on it?
No, I wasn't. That's a surfboard that it's ridden by the world champion Italo Ferreira. He's from Brazil.
Okay.
All my boards are in California.
Where are you right now in the world? You're in Washington right now?
I am currently in Washington, yes.
And you're about to go to Alaska, right?
In about 3 weeks, I head up to Alaska to commercial fish for this summer, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How about that?
Small world.
I know you don't get much time off, but if you do, let me know. We can hang out. It'd be fun.
What part of Alaska are you at?
I'm in Anchorage, but I travel a lot, so.
Yeah, so I fish out in the Aleutian Islands, so.
Yeah.
Oh,
middle
cool.
of nowhere.
Yeah, pretty much.
Awesome. Do you ever bring your drone with you on the fishing?
I have. That's kind of how I got into droning, actually. I was like, oh, like, we're fishing around, like, beautiful mountains, just like Jake was showing you, and just, like, super cool scenery. And I was like, oh, it'd be cool to have a drone up here and just kind of mess around a bit. And that's kind of how I got introduced to droning and then led to surfing.
What drone are you using to film out there? What, in the Baltic?
Yeah. No, I'm using a Mavic 3 now, but I was before I was using a variety of drones. I think my first drone ever was that GoPro drone, and
the Karma?
Since then,
not the Karma.
Yeah, Karma.
Oh, you know what? This is a great triumph story. He started with the Karma, and he made it through that gauntlet of hell, and is still droning today. That's impressive. That's a real
because the Karma will make you hate drones.
Oh man.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was kind of it was interesting for sure. They discontinued it, which, I mean, I don't blame them.
Please tell me that your Karma is in the bottom of the ocean.
My Karma is stored somewhere. I have no idea where that location is.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you've graduated now, and so you're not FPV guy. You haven't gotten into FPV yet, right?
I'm gonna plan on getting into that pretty soon, but
okay, good, because I think that the worlds of FPV and surfers probably share a demographic and a philosophy. I think that you'll find the FPV people. There's probably a lot of surfers and back and forth in that world. And
yeah, I know a few of them.
I'm sure. Now I'm going to show some of your video here, which is amazing and very, very good. But I'm sure you've been in situations where you wanted to maneuver the drone a little bit more than it would allow you because it was GPS, right?
I've always manually controlled it. I've never really had like a problem with it. There's definitely been times where I've had to kind of get out of the way and just
Because all right, well, let me just show this now, and I apologize. I did have to. I think you had like Leonard Skinner in there or something.
Oh,
So
yeah, I just had that. I was like, I'll put Simple Man on there. I'm a simple man.
Okay, all right. Well, I changed the music, and I hope you like it. But take us through like a little bit. Is this all in the same location?
That's in Nazaré. That's Nick Von Rupp. This is in Portugal.
Okay, because these waves. Now I fly drones around buildings, but these waves are the size of buildings, and they're moving.
Yeah.
So, have you had some close calls with? Have you crashed in the water?
I have crashed in the water, and I feel like anyone that's film surfing, that's Kai Lenny and Jaws. That's in Maui.
God.
Yeah, that was probably like he hit 50-foot wave, 60-foot wave, whatever it was. It was crazy, but.
Good Lord, this is just amazing footage that you're getting.
He's probably going about 45 miles per hour, like really fast, kind of at some points of the way. 40 miles per hour is hauling. And that's Pipeline. That
is amazing. You can get to where you're free falling a lot with the surfing. Like just pretty if much, you get just a wall of water where you're not even like this guy. It's like, well, I'll just fall a little bit.
Yeah, that's Ian Walsh, and that was in Mavericks in Half Moon Bay, California.
Wow. This is incredible stuff. So you're a photographer and videographer.
Yeah.
How long have you been filming the surfing?
I've been filming surfing for about a year and a half now.
Okay.
Fairly recent.
And I guess, do you offer the footage for sale, or do you just give it to these guys, or you hang out, or you have a business, or what's the deal?
Well, I have some friends. I do have a business. I have friends that I'll just like, oh, here's some clips or whatever. But I sell clips to like, there's a show called 100-Foot Wave on HBO. That's,
yes, I've seen that.
New. So to them, I'll sell a clip or something like that. And other documentaries or shows, like that's kind of where like I sell clips to and stuff, and surfers too. It just kind of depends.
Jake, do you want to tell him what kind of rig you use when you film for these production companies, and would your octocopter red camera ever make it out over the water? Would you be nervous to do that? If somebody said to you, Jake, we want you to get the kind of shots that he's gotten, but we want you to use the red camera with your rig. So yeah.
I did one shoot where we chased hydroplane boats on a lake that was 3/4 of a mile away from where I had to land and take off, and then they were going, a quarter mile or a half mile at 100 miles an hour, and so it was basically go out there, hover and wait for the start, and then rip along with them as fast as I could until I got down to 3.5 volts, and then get back as fast as I could because, you got X amount of voltage left. So I have done it over water. I haven't done it around big waves like that, but I would love to. I think that'd be spectacular if somebody's going to cover it in case it disappears.
Yeah, you got to have it covered.
Would you be tempted, Jake, to get in there? You know what I mean? Because that's a FP.
I double check all the conformal coating and make sure it's well coated. So if it does get splashed, because it would, that it has a chance of making it out, then maybe, because it would be an amazing shot.
I'm not talking about like, what do you call it, Tucker?
And like getting a shot like in the barrel, kind of.
The barrel. Okay, but I'm not talking, Jake, about a barrel. I'm talking about like maybe a little bit over the camera just before it breaks.
Oh, then.
So that you're surrounded on three sides by water, but you'd also, it's not just straight. You would have to be going, you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, no, you'd be going sideways and forward as fast as like a bat out of hell to get out of there before it closed in on you.
You kind of follow the surfer on the wave. You kind of just like, you speed up right when they drop, and then you kind of, there's certain techniques for filming surfing specifically, but avoid that.
Jake, do you have your machine with you that we can see? Do you have that?
It's upstairs.
Oh, is it?
I can
okay.
Go get it.
Show Tucker how big it is with your.
He might know what it is. It's a Sicario. It's about that big.
Yeah,
you got eight on there. Eight wings.
Yeah, it's eight motors, 8 propellers, so they run top and bottom, and then the red camera kind of sits down in the center of it.
Yeah,
and it's similar to what they used. It's the same drone as what they used on a couple of the shots in Ambulance. Specifically, they used it when they flew underneath the cop car, and I think one of the building dives they used that drone, the same model. And
whenever
it's nice, it's fast. It's
see these
8 miles an hour, 9
shots,
miles an hour.
I see these shots, and I'm just thinking of the expense. Oof.
Stressful day.
Yeah. Tucker did it. There's a lot of people watching right now that have anxiety just watching your footage because it's over water. And when you first get a drone, you're like, I don't want to fly over water. How did you get over that fear?
Well, I was filming in Alaska, and I'm on my boat, and I'm surrounded by water, and I was having to take, I was just like, oh, it's not so bad, and you just kind of like you get used to it, and it's like it's kind of definitely a learning curve at first, and to be comfortable with what you're doing and your risk reward and all that. And there's certain times where I probably won't fly, and you kind of got to know when those times are. And I usually fly most of the time, but sometimes that pipeline per se, there'll be like 16 drones out there. I'm like, I don't want to collide into one of those.
Oh, okay. Today. So when you're filming these waves, there's other drone pilots there doing stuff. Sure. Do you ever coordinate with them? I guess you have to, right?
I've coordinated with a few friends. Yeah, when it comes to filming certain spots, like on the North Shore of Oahu, this place called Pipeline, there's probably it's just hectic. There needs to be some sort of air traffic control out there for that.
Yeah.
But definitely coordination with people and even just people that are it's kind of just depends on which spot. When you're in like a big wave spot, there's stuff happening everywhere, so you could film way farther than another drone could be, and you'll never hit them just because it's such a big playground. But some spots are way tighter.
Now, did I hear you correctly? The first time you flew over water was from your fishing boat?
Yes, yeah.
And was it calm? Were there?
Yes, it was calm. Usually, I think this year I'll try to fly it in some rough weather, but it was pretty calm.
I mean, just because if you get the swells,
yeah,
the whole
the hardest time I've ever had getting my drone back was filming a fishing trip, fishing boat, 90 miles off the shore of Alaska, and it was not calm. Like I wasn't terribly stormy either. I think we were maybe like 6-7 foot waves. So it wasn't really bad, but trying to anticipate the timing of when the boat was going to come up to bring the drone down and grab it by hand before we parted ways again.
Right.
Like,
what drone was it that you were using,
gosh.
Jake? What drone?
That was the Mavic 2 Pro.
Okay. Now, in that case, wouldn't it be handy if there was a disarm switch on DJI products like there is on FPV, where you can just kill the motors because you can just let it drop?
You can do the two sticks down into the center, but the problem is it takes a second. You have to hold them there for a couple seconds before it kills the motors, and so you have to really time things out to where like it's all gonna work out. Otherwise, your drone is. Yeah,
and just advice for anybody thinking about doing this, even on your lake or whatever, make sure your boat's anchored, because if you take off from a spot, the drone's gonna be like, okay, well, I know where that is. I'll just go back there if anything happens, and then it goes back there, and maybe the boat's not there because. And then what is it called in the settings in DJI? It's like dynamic return to home or something, where you can update. I forget what it's called.
You do want to have it update your home point. And it used to be you could have it set to your home point was wherever the controller was.
But yes.
Then they removed that functionality in the Mavic 2, and the Mavic 3 don't have it.
Why?
I don't know how to do that.
I don't know. So you could still go in and manually update your home point, but you have to go in and say, this is my new home point. And
do the new and I don't know, I should know. Do the new drones like Mavic 3s and stuff, and the Air 2Ss? Do they when you tell it to follow you or your car, is it following the physical car or is it following the controller?
It's following the car. It's visually tracking whatever you tell it to follow.
So it doesn't track the controller at all ever.
No.
Well, that's dumb.
Yeah, I wish they would give us that functionality back.
That's crazy. Tucker, what do you have planned coming up for the future? Now you're a surfer yourself, right?
Yeah, I surf a bit, but lately I've been filming mainly, so it's like you don't really get too much time to surf when the waves are good, and I only like surfing California waves that are non-life-threatening. The waves on those videos are just, I mean, they're insane.
Have you done it? Have you gone with the big waves? Have you gone out there?
No.
No, good man. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking? How old are you?
24.
24? Okay. I'm 55, and if I did that, my mother... who is, she would yell at me. I would get grounded.
Yeah, I'd yell at myself for going out there. I don't need to be out there. I'll let my friends go do that.
And now all these people in the videos that we're seeing, are these competitions? These are professional surfers?
Yeah, these are all professionals. Those were non-competitions. You're not really allowed to film in competitions unless you're granted to be there to film.
Oh,
but
okay.
These are just free surfs. These guys have teams of guys with jet skis, and they all tow surfing specifically, and they just attack. That's my friend Lucas Chianca. He's one of the best guys in the world.
Oh my God!
He's got a team of a bunch of people around him, and they just attack these things.
Everybody's looking at the surfers, but the people on the jet skis, they have to be really skilled as well.
Very skilled. These waves come out of any direction, and that's why it's kind of hard to drone too, because there's so much going on, and yeah, it's just nuts what they do, and you gotta be quite the waterman to be out there. And
look at this. How close were you Did you edit this to where you zoomed in and post or anything, or were you actually that close to all this?
I was that close.
How many times have you lost a drone?
Once.
And
Twice.
Twice,
But
okay.
home surfing, I only like once.
Okay, but you have DJI Care Refresh, obviously, right?
They don't. If you lose it in the water, they don't do nothing.
Oh, that's
for
true.
it.
But you got all these buddies out here, hey, find my drone.
Funny, I did lose a drone, and a guy I knew was on a jet ski and saw it land, and he was like, "I could get that right now," but then a wave was coming. He's like, "Yeah, this is a way too dangerous zone," and rest in peace to the drone. But
wow, I could just watch this all day. This is very.
Yeah, it's spectacular.
yeah, it's definitely really fun to film. And I flew over all the way to Portugal for just a day. I went with my friend. We were in Hawaii for specifically this video. And
This
we
is
saw
Portugal?
Yeah. So we
Okay,
saw
here's this guy.
12
Watch him free fall. Watch this. He gets a little bit too steep.
They call
and
it
then- They call it what?
an airdrop.
Oh my God, that's terrifying.
He's going like 40, 45 miles per hour, and just so much water behind it.
Oh, it looks so fun, but I would never do it. I would never do
Yeah,
that.
don't do it. Don't.
No, but it's just
You got to have so much respect for the power of that water. It's insane.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
No, it's funny because I'll be surfing like say like a 5-foot California wave, and sometimes you get like, pounded pretty good by the ocean, and then I'm like, oh, these guys are surfing like 70-foot waves. Like, how do they get up and just survive that? It's just unbelievable.
Right? Like when I was a kid, I would body surf in Jersey. They got like 3-4 foot waves on a good day, and I would get the wind knocked out of me. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's accidents. We don't want to talk about that, but I mean, these are athletes.
There is accidents, but lately there's a lot of prep work that's done behind it, like breath work technique, and these guys is training their whole lives for going out and conquering these waves, and there's just a bunch of safety behind it too. They're not just going out with a board and trying to do this. They got safety skis ready to pick them up, and things do happen, but they're really well prepared.
So the best waves in the world are where?
Best way? That's tough. There's so many good waves around the world. I'd say the best stretch of waves in the world is on the north shore of Oahu, just for like specific waves. But for big waves, there's probably 3 in the world that are the best right now: Jaws in Maui, and Mavericks, Half Moon Bay, and Nazare, which is it was only discovered like 12 years ago as a big wave spot.
The whole world of surfing, I really admire the people that are in it. Whenever like there's a Netflix special, like the world's biggest wave or whatever, I'm like, yes, I'll watch that. And then the whole culture with surfing and everything, it really is akin to the adrenaline you get from FPV flying. I don't know. I'm not.
Bali's good. There's good waves in Bali too. 107 drones.
Oh yeah, okay. Hey, 107 drones. I got your mail. We'll check that out here in a second. So, when the only thing I can liken it to is motorcycles. So if you get a new motorcycle, you get you a little 250, and you get used to that. You're like, this 250 is too slow, and then you move up to like a 600 or 1,000 or something. Is that where you are, or are you comfortable with small waves? You want to keep going and getting bigger?
I just want to surf small waves whenever there's not big waves, and then I want to film big waves whenever there's big waves. So I feel like it's a lot more fun filming and seeing my friends do all these crazy stuff, and instead of being out there.
You just saying that because your mom's watching?
I'm
No,
saying
Mom,
that
I'm
because I
careful.
like my life.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's smart. It takes
these guys have been doing it their whole lives. I got into surfing relatively late because I'm from Washington and it's cold and rainy the whole time. So
yeah,
never really get into it. But
Jake, have you ever surfed?
Yeah, a couple of times. Nothing big, nothing like that. That's for sure.
Now I've seen when the glaciers calf. I've seen people surf those.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yes.
That's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. but it's fun to watch. Yeah, you go ahead and do
But
it there, Ace.
The other thing people surf up here, and Tucker, if you ever get the chance to, you should try it, is the boar tide that comes up turning an arm. You get this 4 or 5 foot wall standing wave that goes all the way up 30 miles up the arm. You can surf it the whole way.
They did a show on that probably a year ago. It's this show called Waves. And they were showing this. I was like, that looks so fun. It's just an endless little tide wave.
What is that, Jake? Is it like just a little pulse of water or something?
No, it's because we have a 40-foot tidal difference from low tide to high tide, and so all the water coming out, and then when the tide starts coming in, it basically makes this big, huge standing wave as it moves up because the whole bottom of turning an arm is really shallow, so there's nowhere like for the water to go.
Okay,
it just all piles up and moves up the arm in a big 4 or 5 foot wave.
Wow.
I'm trying to go out. I think it's in 2 weeks. There's supposed to be a really big one, so I'm going to try and go out and catch some people surfing it up because it's always fun to watch.
Yeah, how often does that go off? Like once a couple times a month?
Yeah, it's a few times a month. The really good ones are like probably once to twice a month, but there's the kind of middle ones that are 3-4 times a month. But you usually get one really big one a month, and then it also depends on the wind. If the wind is blowing one way really hard, it'll kind of make it not as good. And so, but
I'd be cool with a drone. Just a long.
It'd be really fun. It's a long way to go.
Well, you guys need to get together. I'll email your information to each other, and you guys can, I don't know, Jake, you can head out and catch some fish with them and film them. You guys can make some magic together.
Let's make the deadliest catch.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let's make the safest catch. That's a show nobody would watch. The safest catch. Nobody gets injured. Everything's fine. All right. Tucker, thank you so much for being on with us. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me, and enjoy the rest of the show, and really appreciate it. Yeah,
and there's links to his stuff in the description. You can check out his photography and his YouTube channel, and there's always great stuff on there to see. We'll see you later, man.
Yeah, see you guys.
All right, see you, bud.